Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Trapping the Ozarks, and today I want to do something different. I know I spent a lot of time talking about coyotes and canines and things like that, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about cats. I had a question the other day about, what are some of the ideas that you use on cats. So first let's talk a little bit about cats and how they differ from canines. Number one, cats are not skittish like canines, especially coyotes. Coyotes are the most skittish creature in the woods. Bobcats are not. They're not really scared of much of anything. So that you can guide them, you can put them in a lot of places that you could never ever put a coyote. The second thing is, unlike a coyote whose primary sense is going to be his nose, a cat's primary sense is going to be either their sight or their hearing, and then their nose next. People think that a cat's nose is not very good, and that's not really true. Maybe compared to a coyote, it's not that good, but compared to most other animals in the woods, a cat's nose is pretty darn good. So it's important that you have good bait, good lure, good urine at your cat sets. Because visually is a big thing that the cats are going to hunt with, but you have to understand that cats are nearsighted. In other words, let's say you put some flagging out and it's, I don't know, 100 yards from a cat. He can see it, but it's blurry to him. And he has got to get up close to it in order for him to really tell what it is. And for a cat, it's really only two things. Can I eat it? Can I have sex with it? It's one of those two things. That's it. That's all they're really doing. So flagging is really important to catch that cat's attention. With cats, again, unlike canines, especially coyotes who will jump on a road and jump on a travel path or get on an edge, and get into a funnel area and just travel that funnel area for long periods of time, 2 or 3 miles down a road or down an edge of a field or a fence. Cats are not like that. If you've ever tried to trail a cat in the snow, they jump on a road, they'll get down 20, 30 yards, they jump off. Then they go through the woods, over a log, through some boulders, around through some brush piles, jump back on the road, go 30, 40 yards, and then they jump off on the other side and they go down over there and they wander all around. Who knows why a cat does what it does? It's just not the same as a coyote or a canine. So for cats, you've really got to be on location. So once you get on your macro location, you know there's cats here, there's sign here, you maybe are on an open field with a lot of brush piles around the edges, you know cats are hunting these edges. So a good thing that I like to do is put up my main flagging, my primary flagging. Probably number one primary flagging is a CD. 2 holes, one in the top, one in the bottom, fishing swivel in the top with some 50-pound test that I can tie something to, some 50-pound test out of the bottom with a swivel on it, and then I like to tie a duck wing or a turkey wing to the bottom, whatever kind of wing I have. So now I've got a CD that's spinning in the wind and a wing that's spinning, and when that CD is spinning and there's a little bit of a moon out, even at night, it's going to kick off all this stuff that cat's going to see. It's going to be flashes. Again, it may be blurry to him from a distance, but he's going to come up there and see what it is. Is this something I can eat? Is this something I'm going to have sex with? The issue with cats is once they get close and they figure out this is not something I can eat or not something I can have sex with, he's going to lose his attention and go away. So for me, I like to have a secondary flagging system of some kind. So maybe 10 feet, something like that, from my primary flagging system, I'm going to build kind of like a little pseudo cubby kind of set. And maybe I'm going to use cedar tree boughs or pine tree boughs or whatever, and I'm going to erect something that I can use where I can hang my my secondary flagging. And that's probably more like just maybe a wing or whatever you got. And then I'm going to put my bait in there, probably in some kind of a dirt hole. And then I'm going to put lure in there, and I'm going to put bobcat urine in there, and I'm also going to throw a whole bunch of feathers around on the inside. I like to use duck feathers that I just keep from duck hunting. So now I've got this cubby kind of like thing. It's basically like a half of a horseshoe that you can't really see it from the sides, so you got to be able to see it when you're in line with the primary flagging. So it's basically in line and maybe 10 feet from my primary flagging, but you can't really see it until he comes to the primary flagging, he stops, he realizes this is not something I can eat, something that I can have sex with, and then boom, I go toward this secondary flagging, and I like to make it as kind of wild as you can. That's why I like to use a bunch of feathers inside of it, and hopefully he's going to go in there. The issue with cats is where you're going to put your trap. Unlike a coyote, if you put the trap 8 to 10 inches in front of your dirt hole, you're gonna, or your wing that you're using in there, you're gonna miss a lot of cats. Because a lot of times, cats are kind of schizophrenic and they're going to lose attention very, very quickly. I know a lot of guys that'll put their trap right under a primary flagging and then they hardly catch any cats. And that's because that cat has come up here, he's stopped, he's realized what that flagging is, he realizes this is really nothing that I'm going to have sex with or eat, so then I move on to something else, and he's 2 feet in front of your flagging. I've got all kinds of trail cam video where you can see what these cats do, and they do that all the time. They will always stop before they get to your set. So what I've learned to do over the years, and I think other people have talked about this as well, I think Clint Locklear talks about it, I think lots of other cat trappers out west talk about it, you got to put that trap before your set, like 16, 18, 20 inches before, so that way if that cat stops, you still have a chance to catch him. If he goes all the way through to your set, you've got him blocked in and hemmed in because of your cedar tree boughs, your pine tree boughs. And then I like to use little sticks that are sticking up on the outside of my jaws that gives him something even more so to funnel him to that pan. Maybe 2 or 3 that are maybe an inch, coming up an inch out of the ground on each side of your jaws. Just stick them down in there. When you sit your dirt over, you've got them sticking up, you know, an inch or so. And that'll just force him into that middle onto your pan. So you've got all these things that are forcing him in there. If he goes all the way in there, I've got him. If he stops, maybe 20 inches out, give or take 18 inches out, that's where I'm going to have my trap, hopefully, I've still got him. If he stops 3 feet out, I'm not going to get him. But that's a little bit too far for me, and I've tried experimenting with putting traps farther out, and then I think there's too much out in front, and then now you have this whole tube, and I think it's just too much. So I like to go about 2 feet out, and maybe 20 inches, and that works really, really well for me. So the big things with cat is visual, a primary and a secondary flag. Make sure you have good bait, make sure you have good urine, make sure you have good lure. Hem them in with not only your brush that you're going to use, but your little sticks that you're going to use, and make sure that wherever he is, if he's standing next to your primary flag, like maybe 2 feet here, 2 feet here, 2 feet here, he's got to be kind of in line that he can see your secondary flag. If he can do that, then he'll go to it, and hopefully you're going to catch your cats. So that's kind of like a rough, real quick, down and dirty thing of how I catch cats. I'm going to spend a lot more time this year trying to catch cats specifically, besides just canines. So we'll talk some more in the future and have some more videos. If you like this video, subscribe, send it to your friends, leave comments below, and if you have any other questions, leave those below as well. And be careful out there, and good luck.